This is everything you need to know to go to Kuala Lumpur, the biggest city in Malaysia. All right, let's go. First, I want to tell you just a little bit of background about Kuala Lumpur, or KL as the locals call it. The term Kuala Lumpur literally means muddy confluence in Malay, and it's a city founded where two rivers meet, originally as a tin mining colony. It's turned from that muddy little pass today into a bustling metropolis of nearly 9 million people in the metropolitan area, 2 million in the city proper. It's a cultural melting pot of Malays, Indian, and Chinese, with some of the world's cheapest 5-star hotels, great shopping, and even better food. The most famous attraction here is definitely the Petronas Twin Towers, the iconic super tall building that has the sky bridge between the two towers, but you'll also find lots of other really interesting temples and mosques showing off KL's cultural landscape. And you might even meet a monkey or two on your journey. Oh, and by the way, each major scene in this video I'm going to shoot at a different part of KL, so you get to see the city as we go. Where am I starting this? This is in front of the Sultan Abdul Samad building, a classic building from the colonial architecture here when it was under British rule. This Moorish architecture you'll find over and over throughout the city. Part of what makes it interesting is you've got this right next to this, which is now Southeast Asia's tallest building at 118 floors. And this is at Merdeka Square, Independence Square. They name a lot of things here in both Malay and English, and this has one of the world's tallest flagpoles. The second thing to know is some information to help you get oriented to KL. And by the way, where I'm shooting this in KL's Little India neighborhood, also known as Brickfields. But first I want to get you oriented to where KL is in relation to the rest of Malaysia. So Malaysia itself is divided into two major land areas separated by a vast expanse of ocean. To the east is Malaysia Borneo, which borders Indonesia, and to the west is peninsular Malaysia, bordering Thailand to the north and Singapore to the south. KL is located in the central southern portion of the peninsula in the state of Selangor. The city is a federal territory, kind of like Washington, D.C., and it has an area of about 250 square kilometers, or about 100 square miles. The metropolitan area that includes the neighboring cities is often also referred to as the Klang Valley. Now let's dive into KL itself, and I want to share with you some of the neighborhoods you'll want to get familiar with. And the first one is the KLCC neighborhood, the Kuala Lumpur city center, most famous because it's home to the iconic Petronas Towers. KLCC is a modern and upscale area with skyscrapers, high-end shopping, and the KLCC Park, but it turns out it's actually not the center. We'll talk about where the center is in a moment. Now just next to KLCC, there's another neighborhood known as Bukit Bintang. Bukit means hill, and Bintang means star, so this is Star Hill. It's the heart of KL's entertainment district, known for its vibrant nightlife, shopping malls, and luxury hotels. And next to Bukit Bintang is another hill, Bukit Nanas Pineapple Hill, home to the only rainforest left in KL, and to the iconic KL Tower. That's the big sky needle looking thing that we'll talk about when we get to things to do. Those three neighborhoods together, KLCC, Bukit Bintang, and Bukit Nanas, form what they call the Golden Triangle, the modern heart of the city. Now where the center of the city actually is the colonial heart of the city, which is right next to Chinatown, which is where the current Independence Square is. And this is the actual center because there's actually the 0-kilometer marker here. All distances from KL are measured from Independence Square. Now Brickfields, the neighborhood that I'm standing in now, Little India, is located south of the city center. Well, either of those centers that you want to consider the center. This is home to another center, KL Central train station, which turns out is not in either of the city centers. But this is the hub of the city's transit infrastructure. Now KL's a huge city, and so there's no way I can cover all of it in this single video, but there are two other areas that I want to point out because we're going to talk about them later. The first one in the northern suburbs is the Batu Caves. This is one of KL's most iconic attractions that we'll talk about later. And further north, a great day trip from KL is the Genting Highlands, Malaysia's version of Las Vegas, the only legalized casinos in Malaysia. We're going to see those in the things to do section too. The third thing to know is about getting into KL. And if you're like most people, you'll be flying, and that means you'll be landing at Kuala Lumpur International Airport. It is a big modern airport. Two terminals, the first one called KLIA for the main carriers, the second one KLIA2 for the budget carriers. Now you will want to fill out your Malaysian digital arrivals card before getting on the plane to get here so that you can use the e-gates on arrival. It's a really big airport. It took me about an hour from the time I got off the plane to the time I was actually in the departures hall past immigration and customs. So plan for some time to get yourself from the plane to the curb. And if you're looking to get some local currency while you're here, I'll talk about that when I get to the money section. Now, how to get yourself from the airport to the city? There's a few different options. The first one is you can take the KLIA Express train. This is a train that takes just about 30 minutes, really fast train to bring you into the city, and it brings you into the city here where I'm sitting at KL Central Station. Note, if you're taking the KLI train to go back to the airport, you can actually check your luggage in here at the airport. If you're flying a few select airlines, of course, Malaysia Airlines is one of them that has in-city check-in. You do have to be taking the KLIA Express train if you want to use that in-city check-in. The trains cost 55 ringgit one way and run about every 15 to 20 minutes, so quite convenient. Your other options are to take a taxi or some sort of ride share. The taxis, there are metered taxis that stop at the airport. The price of a metered taxi should be about 60 to 100 ringgit to bring you into the city center, depending upon traffic. Depending upon traffic, the drive time should take you around an hour and 15 minutes, assuming that the traffic is light. The airport is quite far away from the city center. Now, if you're worried about the metered taxis cheating you, you have another option of what they call coupon taxis. They are companies that offer to basically pre-charge you for the taxi, and then you just give the taxi a receipt and say, well, take me to where I'm going, here's the receipt. You'll take those coupon taxis in certain areas. They should be a fairly similar price, somewhere between 60 to 100 ringgit to get you into the city center. If you want something more luxurious, you can take what they call an airport limousine into the city center. This is what I did, not because I had intended to. I really just wanted a taxi and I wasn't paying attention to how much it actually cost. I went to the counter that said coupon taxi, and I assumed I was getting a taxi, but then I realized once I paid for everything, I was so sleepy. I was like traveling for 30 hours to get here. I realized I paid, 200 plus ringgit to take this very nice van. It was a very nice van. It would have been great if I had a lot of people, but for just one person, it was a little bit expensive. But I didn't have to worry about being scammed when I was dropped off at the hotel because I'd already paid a coupon method. If you are going to use the coupon taxis, know the price, be prepared to haggle a bit, and if you want the lowest price option, tell them you want a budget taxi, not a limousine. Now, the second main way people get into KL is they come in by bus, and there are two major bus stations in the city. Neither of them are KL Central. The first one is Terminal Besar Padu Selatan. It's located in the south, or Pudu Central, located a little closer into the city. If you had a choice, I'd take Pudu Central. The fourth thing to know is about getting around KL. But first, where am I shooting this? I'm shooting this at the top of the TRX Mall in what's known as the Park. This is part of the Tun Razak Exchange development. This is their 106-story building that I'm sitting under here. I'll talk more about this in the shopping mall section, but know that there's a really cool park on the top where you can get great views of the city and really kind of like get away from the hustle and bustle on this neat little park hiking nature area on the top. There's even a children's playground and an artificial waterfall over here. All right, but to get around KL, there's a good but not great public transit infrastructure. We'll talk about why it's not great in a moment, but plenty of train lines, plenty of train options. We got a monorail, we got light rail, we got underground trains. If you're just gonna be here for a couple days, you can buy single ride tickets for those. Riding the monorail, you can buy your tickets from the ticket machines like this. Tells you prices right up here. It's all in English. You need to know kind of what line you're taking, and then you tell it where you're going. All right, 1 token, 270 cash. The machines take cash only, no credit cards. And then after you've put in your money, you'll get your change only back in coins and your token to ride. So to get in, you take your token, and then you just touch your token right there, and it opens the platform for you. Me, I'm going this way to KL Central. Platforms on either side. Most of the stations are set up like this, where if you want to go to the other side, there's a little underpass staircase to get to the other side. The public transit's pretty cheap. You'll find rides to cost you somewhere between 2 to 5 ringgit, pretty much going anywhere in the center of the city. So like $1 US or less per ride. Now, if you're gonna be here for a few days, you might wanna consider getting a touch and go card. This is their stored value card. These cost 10 ringgit. You can buy them at the customer service centers at the stations, and then you can load this and you can tap it to get in through the gates, and then you tap it to get out. The reason why you might wanna buy this, one, more convenient because you just don't have to buy those tokens all the time and fiddle with your money and try to figure out where you're going. 2, the rides are cheaper if you use these cards. Also, if you're gonna be driving, you need to pay the tolls with this card because they're all toll-less now on the highways. You can use this also to enter into parking garages. You can use it to buy stuff at various places, so it's handy to have. So once you've got your touch and go card, you can reload it at any of these things here. You just put your card in there, and then you say, analyze ticket, you place your card, the card is placed. This sucks. Now, I found none of these machines able to reload my card, and I found that this machine was the only card able to reload my card. I put my card in here, and I push the screen, and it said it won't print things. Is that okay? And then I said yes, and then I could actually put in some cash to put money on my card. Now, the center of the transit lines in the city is the KL Central Station. That's where the Airport Express goes into. That's where a number of the train lines go into. Now, I'd say the coolest of all the train lines to take for a visitor is the monorail. This one's elevated around the city, and it's got really great views because it's up high above things. It goes through some of the center city neighborhoods. A lot of times I just tend to close my eyes or respond to comments while I'm, in transit, but on the monorail, I just really want to spend all my time looking out the windows. Big windows, great views. Take that one, you can take it just as a scenic trip from the beginning to the end. No, it's scenic, but it's also probably the slowest. Yet the speeds on the monorail, not very fast. Now, the reason why I say the transit infrastructure is good but not great is I just felt like it didn't really go everywhere that I wanted to go, and often, like the monorail, it was slow. Like, I would look at Google Maps and I would put in a route, and I would find that the transit option is 45 minutes because I've got to make a connection or two to get there, and I would look and see that the driving time would be 11 minutes. 11 minutes if I take a Grab, or 45 minutes if I take the train. And so I spent most of my days here taking Grabs or taxis to get around because the travel time was much shorter, and Grabs and taxis are relatively cheap here in KL. Grab, what is that? If you're familiar with Uber or Lyft, Grab is the main ride-sharing app here that you call from your phone. If you're coming to KL and you want to have cars take you around, they call it e-hailing here. Download the Grab app, set it up before you leave home, put in your phone number, do all that two-factor authentication setup so that when you get here, you got your credit card stored and you can just go ahead and call a ride. If you are taking the actual metered taxis, do beware that many of them won't want to actually run the meter and want to negotiate a price with you. They're supposed to run the meter where they go, which is why most people like the Grab app. Note, I found the drivers even on Grab to be kind of fiddly. When I was requesting a Grab to go to the Genting Premier outlets, two of them, one of them wouldn't show up, and the second one called me and said his car was too old and that he can't go there. So I needed to cancel the ride. Know that on the Grab app, the cars, if you're requesting the cheaper rates, might be a little bit sketchy. If you want a nice car, then you need to pay the better rates for the Premier cars. Now, another great way to get around the city is by walking, and the Kuala Lumpur city center is pretty compact. Like, if you look at Google Maps, a lot of times you'll see things are just a 20-minute walk away or just a 30-minute walk away. And you look at that and you might be tempted until you do it once in the middle of the KL daytime heat. And you'll get halfway through and you're like, oh, I should have called a Grab. The heat is energy draining and life sapping. And honestly, if the walk is more than 15 minutes and it's daytime, you'll probably want to take some other form of transit option. Nighttime, you can walk a little bit further, but if you are walking, do be aware on the sidewalks because they don't really line up everywhere here and there's a lot of trip hazards on the sidewalks. This is a really quickly growing city, and so I feel like sidewalk development is something that's pretty low on their tiers of standards. Make sure you don't step in any big holes as you're walking around, because there are a lot of them. Overall, I would put the stroller friendliness of KL 2 out of 10 on the scale of how easy it is to push a stroller around the city. But when you're crossing the street here, definitely beware of the cars. The drivers can be a little bit crazy and they continue to go even when the lights are red. So just because you have a green to cross the street, look for cars. I've even seen cars not really respecting cones that police officers have put in front of them, with the police officers standing right next to them. So really keep your wits about you when you're anywhere near automobiles. Now, one good way for getting around to get away from the cars from the KLCC to Bukit Bintang is to take this neat connector from the two. It's a second story elevated bridge skywalk that'll take you from Petronas Towers all the way to the Pavilion Mall in Bukit Bintang. Best part about it, you don't have to cross any streets, no intersections, and it's actually air conditioned. Google Maps won't route you on it. You usually have to know where it is and use it. And another cool place to walk is the River of Life around Masjid Jamek. This is where the two rivers meet, the Kuala Lumpur muddy confluence. They've really beautified the walkway on either side of the river, and it makes for a nice stroll. The fifth thing to know is about the weather, and Kuala Lumpur has a tropical rainforest climate, which means that it's pretty hot and humid all year round. The temperatures really don't change. There's not significant seasons affecting the temperature. The seasons are the dry and the wet season. The wettest seasons are gonna be March and April and October to November. On average, it rains about every other day in Kuala Lumpur, but in the wettest seasons, it rains about twice as much than it does during the dry season. In the dry season, when it does rain, the storms are generally limited to a couple of hours, often in the afternoon, and actually you'll be very happy when those storms come through because it cools the temperature down. Related to the temperature, so how hot is it? The daytime high is pretty constant throughout the year, about 90 degrees Fahrenheit or 33 degrees Celsius. Hot. The nighttime lows are about in the 70s Fahrenheit or 23 degrees Celsius. No, when I say nighttime lows, I don't mean like 8 p.m., I mean like 6 a.m. It never gets very cold in Kuala Lumpur. Because it's so humid, you're gonna sweat a lot. I'd recommend bringing some clothing that is wicking. I like shirts like this. This is a Columbia shirt made for hiking and things like that in humid areas. If you wear cotton, it's just gonna get really wet and it's not gonna dry. Though, I'm gonna be wearing cotton in a lot of the other parts of this video because I gotta rep the Yellow Productions logo. And if you're not used to this type of humidity, definitely don't wear jeans. Jeans so much trap the heat, you'll absolutely die in those. So shorts, skirts, those are pretty good to wear. The one caveat to that is if you're going to some of the temples or some of the mosques, you may actually have to cover up some more. You may have to wear pants, and in that case, you might want to bring actual pants, or you might want to bring some of the pants that are shorts that like add a pant leg to it, that like kind of zip off the pant leg. I've got some of those in my suitcase to wear a little bit later when I'm going to the mosque. Oh, and you should definitely make sure to carry an umbrella with you because even on a day like this where it is 90 degrees Fahrenheit or 33 degrees Celsius and it looks super sunny, rain is in the forecast this afternoon. Oh, and like any hot and humid destination, there be a lot of mosquitoes around here. So if you're gonna do a lot of exploring in nature like this, definitely consider some mosquito repellent. The sixth thing to know before you come to KL is about the language. And I'm joined by fellow explorer, Zach. He's a KL local, subscriber to the channel for a couple of years, helping to produce this whole video here, showing me around. So Zach, what do you think people need to know about the language when they come to this city?
Number one is the Malaysian language is the Malay language. Second is the English language. Third is the Mandarin or Cantonese, which is spoken by the Chinese people. And the fourth main one is the Tamil, spoken by the Indian people. If you are from an English-speaking country, you will not have any problem to come over here because we speak English fairly well because we are a former British colony. We gained independence in 1957. And English is widely spoken in business and also in the government services over here.
And absolutely, I've had no problems getting around. I found everything signed in English. Well, either it's not just English, and it's interesting, it's not just Malay, and it's not just Chinese, like it's some combination of those, but you'll generally have English as one of the two. And I've found everybody that I spoke to, even if they don't speak perfect English, they speak enough English to understand what I'm trying to ask or say. The seventh thing to know is about power, and the plugs that they use in Kuala Lumpur are Type G plugs, just like this, 240 volts. So if your plugs on your electronic devices don't look like this, you should get some adapters. If you're staying in a 5-star hotel, like the one I'm in, that I'll tell you about later, it very well might have some plugs that fit your plugs too, but I wouldn't chance it. Bring an adapter. Type G. And for my friends from the United Kingdom, same type of plug we all use there. The eighth thing to know is about food to eat, and Kuala Lumpur is a foodie city. You won't be going hungry. First, I'm gonna start with just some must-eat dishes in the city and then some tourist-friendly places to eat them. No, this is definitely not a Mark Ween street eats video, so I'm not gonna be taking you to the most exotic street food places. I'll be taking you to the places that you'll likely eat as a tourist because they're next to some of the big attractions. Probably the number one staple Malaysian dish is nasi lemak. Nasi means rice, and you can get it with or without meat. If it's served with meat, then it's typically nasi lemak rendang, chicken, or beef. What have I got here on this plate? Rice, chicken, chili sambal, cucumbers, fried anchovies, nuts, and an egg. And yes, you wouldn't eat this with chopsticks. You're gonna eat this with a spoon. You should definitely eat satay when you come to KL. And so, Zach, what makes good satay? And maybe you can explain to us what we have here.
This is chicken satay, and this is a beef satay. Usually, they have to prepare this overnight, prepare it and cook it first before they, barbecue it. And this is one of the best satay in KL, Samuri Satay Kajang.
All right.
Satay Kajang. Kajang is a place in Selangor, which is north of KL. This is where the owner originated.
I noticed no pork, right?
No,
Muslim country, so you won't find pork satay here.
No.
Yes. What else? So how do we eat this? What do you have here?
This is the peanut sauce or gravy. This is a rice cake. This is ketupat, which is also rice. You dip it in the sauce, open like this.
Oh, okay.
There's a rice there.
How is that rice different than this rice?
This is, they put inside a plastic and cook it. This is, they use the palm leaves. Then they boil it in hot water for a few hours. This is sweet, so if you would like to make it more spicier, you just add a sambal inside the gravy.
And I noticed they sell them individually, but they'll sell them by sets too, right?
Yeah. This is a set of 10 and 10.
Okay.
Okay. You can choose how many you want.
How much did this all roughly cost?
About 46 ringgit.
Yeah, all right.
Okay, it's about
10 bucks.
10 bucks.
Yeah. Good deal. Zach, are there any times when restaurants might be closed that people should be aware of?
Yeah, especially on Friday. They will close for Friday prayers, normally from 12:30 until 2:30. So just be aware of that. Even the Mama restaurant will close at least for 1 hour during Friday prayers.
So eat your Friday lunch early or late?
Yes. For fast food like McDonald's or KFC, they don't close. They're open throughout the day.
One of the things you should definitely eat when you come to KL is chicken rice, and we are at Zach's favorite chicken rice restaurant. Zach, show us how to eat chicken rice.
First, you take the sauce, chili sauce, very spicy. Put it here. Then you take a little bit of chicken here and also here.
This is the steamed and this is the roasted chicken.
Yeah. Some cucumber.
I notice you're not using chopsticks.
No.
Okay.
You are eating rice with spoon and fork.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. So take some salad over here and mix it up with the soup because the rice is dry, and you take a small piece of chicken and put some chili sauce on it.
Down the hatch. All right. Thank you for the chicken rice lesson. I love this dish and I've been doing it wrong all these years. If you like soups, you should definitely try the ba ku te. This literally translates to meat bone tea. It's meat that's been stewed for a long time in a herbal type broth. People say it often has a Chinese medicine-y type flavor. Maybe if you got a sore throat, might be good for you too. Let's try this. It does. I can taste all those spices in there. Very soothing. Definitely try the Malaysian style noodles while you're here. This is one of them. This is the fried mee. Mee is Malay for noodles. And here are these noodles. They've got shrimp, they've got chicken, they've got an egg on top, and like most things are served, they're served with some spicy sauce if you want to spice it up, and also another one of those limes to squirt on it. Oh, and make sure to get some coconut to drink too. You should definitely get some curry laksa while you're here. Curry laksa is a spicy coconut curry-based soup with noodles in it. Usually 2 types of noodles, also often served with shrimp. This one's got chicken in it too. And what I also have here is I have tea tarik. This cold tea, Malaysian style tea, where they literally pull it to make it frothy on the top. You can get it hot or iced. Another dish you should definitely eat while you're in Kuala Lumpur is char kway teow. And they're walked up fresh when you order. If they don't walk it up fresh in front of you, it's probably not the right place, move on. But I am eating this in the food court right below the Petronas Towers, walked up fresh. What is it? Well, it's some wide rice noodles, some shrimp, some eggs, some bean sprouts, with a little bit of chili on a banana leaf. Delicious. For a tasty dessert, you should definitely try iced chendol while you're in KL. It is a Malaysian style of shave ice. They shave it fresh for you. They put a lot of local toppings on it. We got like red bean, we got corn, just like some noodles made of pandan leaves, I think. And
Grass jelly.
Grass jelly. You can decide whether you want to add durian or not. Most Chendol places will have durian as an addition. If you add the durian to it, it's going to increase the price maybe 400% if you do that. You should definitely get some shawarma while you're in KL, which might seem odd for a moment, but then you think Muslim country, shawarma makes a lot of sense. The #1 most popular place is called Damascus in Bukit Bintang. Lines there can be really long, but in the Bukit Bintang neighborhood, it seems like there's nearly 100 other options. The one I ate at was called Shawarma Street. It's just across the street from Damascus. No lines in here. Solid plate of chicken and beef shawarma. Fresh cut, off the rack, some sauces, and a mango juice to drink. If you prefer dining out on the street, then Jalan Alur is the place to be. This is KL's most iconic street market. Most of the vendors start to set up around 4 o'clock. They're most open by 5. The street becomes pedestrian only at 6, and then it gets really hopping at 7. It's also pretty easy to see what all these vendors sell because they've got big pictures above all the stores. For some of the best Chinese eats, check out the Lot 10 Hutong food court in the basement level of the Isitan building in Bukit Bintang. In this food court, there's like 50 Chinese food vendors. I didn't count, but it seems like it's that many. There's so many different choices in here. The hardest part is choosing what you want. What have I got here? I've got their 3 barbecue meat plate, 2 types of pork, and of course the duck. It also comes with some soup. 23 ringgit. It is worthwhile to know that if you're dining at food court establishments like this or hawker centers in Kuala Lumpur, they generally don't provide napkins or tissues, and so if you want to wipe your mouth, your face, or your hands, you need to bring them with you. So your hotel likely has them. You likely have a tissue box, or maybe they've got some at breakfast. Bring some with you so you can wipe your hands. Otherwise, if you don't have any, often the drink stalls at places like this sell napkins, or as they call them, tissues. The ninth thing to know is about where to stay, and a great part about staying in KL is that there's a wide variety of hotels, from budget to luxurious, and the best part about them is they're about a half to a quarter of the price of what you'd pay in comparable big cities around the world. I've got 4 neighborhoods you should consider when you're staying in KL. The first one is the Kuala Lumpur city center. This is the area around the Petronas Towers. This is actually where I'm staying on this trip, at the Grand Hyatt. There's a lot of luxury hotels in this area, close to shopping centers, and fairly close to transit. If you want to know more about this hotel that I stayed in, the Grand Hyatt, I'll have a full hotel review coming out. When it's out, I'll link it in the KL travel playlist down below. Second neighborhood you might want to consider is Bukit Bintang. This is the city's real shopping center hub, entertainment hub, eating hub. Many people might consider the Kuala Lumpur city center to be boring or lifeless or soulless, but Bukit Bintang is not. It's going all night. Like, if you want to party late into the night and be where all the action is, Bukit Bintang is for you. And I think it might even be a bit better connected to transport in that neighborhood, particularly if you're staying right around the KL Pavilion or Lot 10 malls, because that's where the monorail and the MRT lines intersect. The third area you might want to consider is the Chinatown neighborhood. This is great if you're on a budget. It's also great if you're a foodie, because there's a lot of delicious food in Chinatown. The fourth and final area that you might want to consider is around KL Central Station. Why? Well, because flying the airport, you can take the train there in 30 minutes. From the train station, walk to your hotel. It's the most well-connected to transport, so that makes it pretty nice. And the 10th thing to know is about mobile data, and you're definitely going to want data around the city to keep connected, to help you use Google Maps, to help you use Grab. It's just honestly a necessity for getting around KL. You will find Wi-Fi in a lot of the major shopping centers and a lot of the major restaurants, but when you're out and about at the bird park, the only way you're going to be able to call a Grab is if you have a data plan. What did I do? I used an eSIM. If your phone supports eSIM, you should definitely get an eSIM. If your phone doesn't, you can get physical SIM cards at the airport. There are tons of SIM card vendors there. But if your phone does support eSIMs, you should definitely do that. I got an eSIM from SimLocal. I've used them for the last few trips. They've been great. I got the Orange 10 gigabyte, 14-day international data plan. It cost $32. It worked here in Malaysia. It's gonna work in Taiwan, or I'm gonna edit this out, but it's gonna work in Taiwan when I'm there too. I was able to buy it beforehand, install it beforehand, and it worked when I got here like a charm. Only drawback of doing that, I don't get a Malaysian phone number, I get a French phone number. And if you do decide to use SimLocal and you want to get a discount, you can use coupon code YELLOW. That'll get you 10% off, and I'll earn a small commission on your purchase, which really goes to help support the channel. Thanks so much. The 11th thing to know is about money, and the currency used in Kuala Lumpur is the Malaysian ringgit. At the time I'm making this video, $1 US is about 4.5 ringgit. The paper bills, there's 1, 5, 10, 20, and 100 ringgit. The ringgits are then divided into sen. For coins, there's 5, 10, 20, and 50. Now, as a society, still a pretty heavily cash-based society. Like many places in the world, there's definitely a lot of stores, attractions that have made the move over to digital and are only accepting digital payments, but those are few and far between. I've found many more places that only took cash, like the Butterfly Park, surprisingly, that you're going to see later, only took cash. Like, that's a big tourist attraction, and you only take cash, so you definitely need cash when you get here. How are you going to get your cash? Best way to get cash is at the airport, at the ATM, not at the currency exchange people. And it's actually really hard to find the ATMs because I think I don't know, but I feel like they've purposely made them hard to find so that more business is given to the currency exchange people on the arrivals hall. Because on the arrivals hall, you won't find any ATMs. You will only find the ATMs on the departure level of Kuala International Airport. That's level 5. You'll find it behind the check-in counters, right next to this Chinese restaurant, and all of the ATMs right there. To decide which ATM you want to use, look at these little logos up there, find the one that's on your card and match it to the ATM that's part of your bank network. I found Maybank worked really well at the airport or anywhere around Kuala Lumpur. They were fixing those while I was there, so I used a different one. Definitely also know that if you're offered the dynamic currency exchange option to withdraw your money directly in whatever your home currency is, like US dollars with some conversion fee, don't take it. It's always a bad deal. Just take it in Malaysian ringgit, pay the transaction fee that you have. It'll be way cheaper than if you took that or if you use the currency exchange people. If you do actually have money that you need to exchange, then do it in the city and not at the airport. There are tons of currency exchange people in the city. And if you need to find something, you need some information at the airport, the information desk is on the 5th floor with this eye right here. These people are friendly and they won't try to sell you anything, unlike everybody on the departures floor. The 12th thing to know is about shopping, and if you like to shop, you're gonna love Kuala Lumpur. One of the best places to shop is the Bukit Bintang neighborhood where I'm standing right now. This is like shopping mall central in KL. Like every block or two, there's another shopping mall. In the basement, many of them have food courts, so great places to eat. You can easily spend a whole day just going in and out of all the malls here. I'll tell you some of the best ones that I like in this neighborhood, and then we'll work our way to some of the other malls and other shopping areas around the rest of KL. Now, while Lot 10 is one of the older shopping malls, Bukit Bintang, it's still quite popular, and it's really become the place to get Japanese goods in Kuala Lumpur. It's also got a big Don Quixote store, or Don Don Donki as they call it here, the Japan Discount King. Now, if you're looking to pick up some inexpensive souvenirs in Bukit Bintang, check out the Sungai Wong Plaza. This one is 6 different floors of lots of little tiny shops. So if you're looking for some durian milk chocolate or your Kuala Lumpur magnet, you're gonna find it here. And if you're looking for electronics, then you'll want to head over to Plaza Loyat. They call this place a lifestyle mall, but what it actually is 7 floors of nothing besides electronics, computers, cameras, and more. Geeks like me will really enjoy this place. But it's more than just you buying a lot of electronics here. If you've got electronics to sell, this is a good spot. And if you need them repaired because your phone broke while you were in Kuala Lumpur, you can get it fixed here too. For some of Bukit Bintang's more upscale and luxurious shopping, head over to the Pavilion Mall. 7 floors of luxury brands. What do we got? I see Longchamp, Armani. Over there it's a Chanel. So if you're looking for the high-end shopping, this is your spot. And at least while I'm here during December, it's pretty nicely decorated for the Christmas holiday season. Christmas music playing out over the speakers. I'm sure they do it because it makes people shop more, but I also do find the Christmas decorations of trees to be interesting in a primarily Muslim country. What they're clearly celebrating here is commercial Christmas, the one where you buy stuff for other people, not the actual Christian Christmas. But just to show how multicultural Malaysia is, at the same time, they're also celebrating Happy Chinese New Year. The Pavilion Mall also has a lot of places to eat. It's got 2 food courts, both of them on the 1st floor. Food Republic, this one behind me, this sprawling food court. This seemed to be the hustling and bustling one. And then the less busy 8th Avenue or Avenue 8. So if Food Republic's too busy, make your way over to 8th Avenue. At the base of the Petronas Twin Towers, you'll find the Surya Mall. This is a very big, luxurious mall. It's got everything you'd ever want in upscale shopping. And of course, it has a really good food court on level 2. Biggest problem with that food court, too popular. I couldn't find any place to sit, but the food absolutely looks delicious. It's very reminiscent of the food court in Taipei 101. And if you can get a seat near the windows, you get views out on the KLCC Park just right out front. And if you're looking for books, you'll find a very large bookstore on the 4th floor of the Surya Mall, Books Kinokuniya. It's a Japanese bookstore, but they do have books in Malay, Chinese, and English too. So if you're looking for some travel guides, this is your spot. Now, definitely my favorite of all the malls I've been to is the TRX Mall. This mall is kind of Bukit Bintang adjacent, but it's actually got its own MRT stop, the Tun Razak Exchange stop. You take that, you get out, you get right into the TRX Mall. This mall, in addition to having a bunch of great shops and great restaurants, has this amazing park up on the top. This park connects more than just the mall, but it connects the whole development that's going on here. There's a Kimpton Hotel that's right here. There's the office building. There's a whole bunch of buildings that are still coming up. There's restaurants that overlook the park. There's an amazing, like, 3-story glass Apple store. I mean, they clearly spared no expense when they built this development. The shops and restaurants are definitely not the cheapest in here, but this is one really cool mall. If you're someone like me who's more of a mall gawker and less of a mall shopper, then this should be the mall that you come to really appreciate what the most amazing KL mall can be at the moment, because there's another mall coming online in the Merdeka 118 building. Wasn't open at the time I made this video, but it should be sometime soon. The building I'm talking about is actually, it's hard to see in this picture, so I'll put some B-roll over it, but it looks like the Burj Khalifa. It's got this like spire that goes up here. It is the tallest building in Southeast Asia. The Sultan of Malaysia like officially opened it in 2024, but still under construction. It's also supposed to have an observatory up on the top of it. Wasn't open at the time I made this video, so I can't tell you whether it's good or not. But maybe by the time you watch this video, it might be open for you to visit. For one spot to get a lot of unique souvenirs to bring back home all under one roof, check out the Central Market. This is near Chinatown and Independence Square. It used to be a former actually wet market, food market building, but now it's home to lots of souvenir shops and local artisans. And yes, there is food still too. And if you want to get yourself some durian souvenirs, stop by Durian BB, where like they're stuffed animals that are durians. And they've even got a durian cartoon. They love their durian here. If you're over by KL Central Station, you can stop into the new Central Mall. That's NU Central Mall. This is another huge mall. All the malls here are huge. It's amazingly how huge they are. New mall. I'd call this a middle tier mall. Not a lot of luxury brands in here. But if you're looking to kill some time because you got a later train to the airport or something like that, it's a great place to kill a couple of hours. Food court on the 3rd floor, lots of restaurants on the 4th and 5th floors. Now I want to talk about something really important. I want to talk about toilets. And the toilets in Kuala Lumpur are generally plentiful. They're generally fairly clean. They're generally modern. They're generally Western style toilets, but not always. Sometimes you might find the squatty potties, the Asian style toilets. They will usually have a little symbol on the door that says like squatty potty. That's kind of what it looks like. If you're not interested in one of those, then find the one that has the picture of the Western style toilet on the outside. What they will also have that you may not be familiar with, there's a little hose kind of thing on the side. Those are for people who like to wash themselves after they go. If you don't, just go ahead and don't use that thing. Toilets in Kuala Lumpur are generally free, though a lot of them, like this one at the National Museum of Malaysia, are outside, which means they're not air conditioned, which means they can be really hot inside. The one paid toilet I have encountered so far was at the Lot 10 shopping mall in Bukit Bintang. They were charging 50 cents to use their toilets. Some places you might actually need to buy the toilet paper. The 14th thing to know is about some of the best things to do in Kuala Lumpur, and certainly one of the most iconic things to do is visit the Petronas Towers Observatory and the Sky Bridge right over there. If you want to do this, it's really popular, so I'd encourage you to reserve a ticket online ahead of time. They open up about 2 to 4 weeks ahead, depending upon when you're going, but that's when you should look out for the tickets. It's 98 ringgit for the Sky Bridge and Observatory Tower, and you need to check in 15 minutes before the 15-minute window that they've given you to go up the elevator. Now, just as a point of reference of me buying the tickets, I bought the tickets on December 18th before January 1st today, and when I did that on December 18th, the whole month of January tickets opened up. I don't know if it does that every month, but that's what it did for me. Now, the way the Petronas Towers Observatory visit works is it's actually like a guided tour. So the visit experience is roughly an hour from your start time to your end time. You get broken up into small groups. They take your small group up to the Sky Bridge. That's that bridge that connects the two different buildings. You get 10 minutes on that Sky Bridge. Then you get up to the top floor, the 86th floor. You get 15 minutes up here that you can look around things. They've got some interactive art experiences. They've got some models of the towers, and then you're done. And then they dump you back in the gift shop downstairs, as you would for any experience. Now, once you finished on the observatory and finished exploring the mall underneath Surya that I talked about earlier and shopping, you can also explore the KLCC Park that's right in front of the Petronas Towers. This is a really neat urban park. It's got probably the best place for you to take a selfie with the Twin Towers. That's where I am right now. At nighttime, they have a water fountain show out here. And for the kiddos, they've actually got like a splash pad that they can jump around and play in and cool down, which is pretty nice right about now. But for an even better view of the city, visit this tower that has a few names. Sometimes it's known as the KL Tower, sometimes known as the Menara Tower, sometimes it's known as the Menara KL Tower. This tower is the current tallest observation deck in Kuala Lumpur, and what's great about this is it has an open air deck up here that you can just be outside to see the city. It looks a lot like the Seattle Space Needle or the Calgary Tower. It's open from 9 a.m. until 10 p.m., but if you want to avoid the crowd, try to get here as early as possible. And I am here at just about 11 in the morning. I got here at 10:30. I'm glad I did because it's just getting busier and busier. But yes, what's great about this is you can see the Petronas Towers from here, and you can't really see them from the Petronas Towers. They also have these things called skyboxes that you can add on for an add-on ticket. There's two of them. There's one right here. It's a glass deck that you go out on. Skybox 1, you can see the Petronas Towers. Skybox 2, you look out the other way. And when I was here, the add-on for 10 ringgit, I had to wait about 25 minutes to spend 45 seconds in that skybox. But this is definitely a great way to start your visit to Kuala Lumpur to really get your bearings and feel of the city. For foreigners, admission to this tower is 110 ringgit. You can buy tickets the day before online, or you can buy them the same day on site. If the line's too long, you can buy one of the express tickets to take a shorter line in. I got here pretty close to opening time, and so the lines weren't that busy yet. Do note, they don't allow high heels at the KL Tower, so make sure, ladies, to bring your flats. You know, and I also like, as an observatory, that they have a lot of seats, so if you're up here for a little while and you're waiting for your skybox ticket to come along, you can have a seat, relax, and enjoy the view from a bench. So I ran into a few fellow explorers here from Kerala, India, and we have a mechanical engineer, a nurse, and 2 teachers. What do you like about the KL Tower?
Inspector.
Inspector. All right. What do you like about the KL Tower?
It's too good, too good.
How long have you been in Kuala Lumpur for this trip?
Yeah, Kuala Lumpur only 2 days.
What's been your favorite food?
Dosa.
Oh, dosa. Do you have any tips for visiting Kuala Lumpur that you'd like to share?
Very nice place. Night also we can go around, no problem.
Safe place.
Safe place.
No risk.
And if you want to eat while you're here, there's a few like quick serve restaurants down here at the bottom floor. None of them look that delicious. I think the great place to eat is on the top. There's a rotating restaurant up on the top, but you do need to make a reservation ahead of time. If you want to do that, it's a buffet. Now, before or after you visit the KL Tower, definitely check out the KL Forest Eco Park. Why? Because it's right next to it, and it's a great way to get up or down from it, because the KL Tower is up on top of a hill. I think this is a great way to get down, take your taxi up to the KL Tower, and then walk back down the hill this way. But this Forest Eco Park, it's a park, it's like a reserve. You do have to pay to get in. Admission is 40 ringgit, cash only. They do close for bad weather. They also do close on Fridays. It's really quite big. If you just do the path like up to the KL Tower, it's pretty short. You can go from the bottom of the hill to the top in about 10 minutes, but there's a lot of paths that walk around. You can really see the forest from the treetops, which is cool. And lots of monkeys, even mama monkeys with baby monkeys. That is worth the price of admission right there. Now, if you did want to do this from the bottom, which again, I don't recommend, but if you're glutton for punishment and you want to walk uphill, then you're going to want to set your Google Maps right here for this. This is the gate at the bottom. This is the Bukit Nanas Forestry Information Center. There's a whole bunch of other gates at the bottom, but most of them aren't actually open anymore. This is the one that's open. If If you like birds, then you should definitely check out the Kuala Lumpur Bird Park. It is the world's largest walk-in aviary where you walk in with the birds. They've got pretty birds, big birds, small birds, silly birds, my favorite, the flamingos. They've also got flightless birds, and they've even got parrots that'll take pictures with you, or you take pictures with them. I don't know, you pay 40 ringgit and you take pictures with the parrots. That was probably the highlight of my visit, was taking pictures with the parrots. If you want to get more involved with the birds, you can feed the birds, and there's also a couple daily bird shows too, though they do say they canceled them due to inclement weather, so my money would be on the 12:30 one being your best bet for the show. 3:30 is probably often going to get canceled due to rainstorms. There's also a restaurant here at the bird park called the Hornbill Cafe, which has pretty good food actually. You can eat at that restaurant if you're visiting the botanical gardens as well, because the bird park is just right next to the botanical gardens, and you can get to the restaurant without actually paying admission to go into the bird park, though you will have to leave the botanical gardens to eat at that restaurant. Now, if you like butterflies, you should definitely check out the Kuala Lumpur Butterfly Park, just near the bird park. Admission to this one is 30 ringgit, cash only, and you come into this big area with, yes, lots of butterflies. They're hard to see like this, but trust me, there's thousands of them down there. Up there. They're all around. You can pay 5 more ringgit if you want to feed them too. If you're here with a group, there's some cool places to just sit down and chillax inside, like this little pavilion, and even some seats inside this waterfall. Nice and cool down here. If you like plants and nature, then check out the botanical gardens. This is also near the next few attractions that are on the list. The highlights here is the orchid garden with thousands of orchids, most blooming in springtime, March or April. Also hibiscus garden, which is Malaysia's national flower. And it's a good deal because admission's free. To learn more about the history of Malaysia than I could ever possibly teach you in this video, visit the National Museum of Malaysia. Admission to this museum is cheap. It's 5 ringgit. It's open 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. The last admission is 4 p.m. Do note it's closed the first Monday of every month and a few Muslim holidays. This museum goes through the whole history of Malaysia from the prehistoric times to Malaya to what it is today, Malaysia. It's a pretty small museum. It's worth about an hour of your time. If you come at 10 o'clock, most days they offer free English tours through the museum. There's also a cafe here that you can eat some traditional Malaysian style set meals for 15 ringgit a person. And while I wouldn't come here just for this by itself, it's also really close to the National Mosque, the Botanical Garden, and the bird park up the hill. To learn more about the national religion of Malaysia, Islam, visit the National Mosque. It's free to enter, tourists can enter, though there are only certain times you can enter. 9:30 to 12:30, and then 3 to 6, except on Fridays, then you don't have the morning time. And if you are coming to the mosque, you need to be properly attired. What does that mean? Well, for men, it means you'd have some form of sleeves, no tank tops, and you also need to have long pants. For women, you need to, in addition to have those things, you need to have long sleeves, and you need to have a head covering or scarf. If you didn't bring any of those things, no problem. They have robes that you can wear at the front or scarves that you can use. Those are free of charge as well. And you do need to take off your shoes, though you can wear socks. If that kind of creeps you out, you're going to wear the socks in here that you're then going to put back in your shoes. Bring another pair of socks if you plan to come here. It's a really neat place. It's really beautiful. The architecture is beautiful, and all the people who work here are super friendly and happy to answer your questions about the national religion or the mosque itself. Now, how much time you should allocate here really depends on how much you want to dive into the whole place. Probably 30 minutes is good for most people. If you want to spend some time chatting with the volunteers here about the whole place, why it exists, what the architecture is like, then maybe spend an hour. I spent an hour here. I'm also making a video too. And if you don't want to talk to anybody, but you do want to learn a little bit more about why they pray the way they do, their bows and things like that, they've got some self-service pamphlets that are just on this side of the prayer hall. Now, after the National Mosque, if you're interested in learning more about the Islamic arts, there's the Islamic Arts Museum of Malaysia, just right around the corner from the National Mosque. For one of the most popular day trips from Kuala Lumpur, visit the Genting Highlands. This is about an hour drive or bus ride from the city center, and this is Malaysia's version of Las Vegas. The only legalized gambling in all of Malaysia is here at Resorts World. But in addition to that, there's a couple of theme parks here, there's lots of shopping, and it's really cool how you get up here. You see this thing, this Skyway, this cable car? That's how you get up here. The bus or the taxi, you'll want to take that to the Genting Premier outlets, and then from there, you board this cable car. Well, there's actually two of them. There's a first one that you board and you go on, and that'll, if you'd like to stop, you can stop at the Chin Sui Caves complex. It's a really neat temple that was built by the guy who founded this whole thing. If you don't want to, just keep going on, come up here, and then enjoy the insanity that is Resorts World Genting. But the other really cool part about it here is that because it's so high up, it's an elevation of 6,000 feet, the temperature is much, much better than in central KL. It's, I'm not sweating. It's really quite nice. If you want to see more about this, like what to see, do, and eat here, then I've got a whole separate video on the Genting Highlands. You can check that out when you're done with this video. Visit the Batu Caves to see a very interesting Hindu temple inside of a cave. To get into this temple, you have to go up 278 steps that are guarded by a gigantic statue of the Hindu god of war. And then once you're in, wow, it's a temple inside of a cave. It is said that the Hindus asked the British to be able to build this temple here because the site reminded them of the sacred areas of the Himalayas. I've never been to the Himalayas, but I can see how this could feel like the Himalayas, except I had no idea the Himalayas had temples with multicolored lights on it inside of a cave. Really unique place. Admission is free, and to get here, it's a little bit north of the city. There are trains that'll go from KL Central Station to Batu Caves, or if you take a taxi or Grab, it's about 30 minutes outside of the city center. Once you make it to the top of that second staircase, it brings you up here. There's a smaller little temple. You also need to take off your shoes if you want to go in there, although you can see it all from the outside, so you don't really have to unless you're getting a blessing from them. And you look up and you can see the sun in this one. Really reminds you how this used to be lots of jungle back in the day. And if you climb what seems like a couple hundred steps to get up here, there's another cave at the top. You got to take your shoes to come up in here, but you can see a little baby stalagmite and stalactite that have been forming from the water dropping into the cave, 11 years old, or young, depending upon how you look at it. If you hadn't had enough caving after the Batu Caves, there's one more cave temple you can visit right next door. It's like it's just a 5-minute walk away from the Batu Caves. This is the Ramayana Caves. This one is a much more newer developed cave. It like opened in the 2000s. It reminds me of like a Chinese temple that does like the story of the 10 hells, gets together with some American hippies from the 70s and puts in a cave. Like in there, there's a Hindu story with all these dioramas and these statues, this huge statue of this guy. And then you can climb like 200 stairs to get to the temple up at the top. That's like a cave temple inside with like neon lights and lasers, and it's really wild. 15 ringgit to get in here, probably worth another 30 minutes after you visit the Batu Caves. I don't know that I would come here by itself, but if you're already at the Batu Caves, you might as well add it on. To get a behind-the-scenes tour of pewter manufacturing, visit Royal Selangor. They're a company who's been in business for over 100 years making pewter. Things that look like this. You get a guided tour through a museum that talks about the history of the company, which is really pretty interesting about how it was founded. Then you get a tour through the actual factory where they make all these pewter things. By the way, what is pewter? It's primarily made of tin, but it has some specific alloys in it that they'll tell you all about when you visit. I'm not gonna try to take the science away from them, but you do get to see how it's made. You then even get to try your hand at making it. I knock on it twice in the exact same spot to make a dimple. Think I can do it?
Just not harder, no worries.
Not good. Buhao, buhao. It's hard. Yeah, this is really difficult. So when they do it here, they have to knock on it twice exactly in the same spot, like 700 times to make a full thing. It's impressive. It's really impressive to see how they make all this stuff by hand here. None of it's like automated. And if you want to go more into depth, you can make like a bowl, or you can do some other things. Those will cost you a little bit of money. The tour itself is free. And where does it end? As all good free tours do, at the gift shop. Nicely air conditioned, I should point out. What did I look at? Definitely I was interested in the pewter Darth Vader, or the Game of Thrones Iron Throne. It's pretty cool. It's not an Iron Throne though, it's a pewter throne. I should have the Game of Thrones pewter throne. If you're hungry, there's a cafe in here too. This is kind of near the Batu Cave, so you could combine it with there, though there's not really a lot of public transit around here, so you'd be taxiing or grabbing it over here. And the last thing to know, fellow explorers, that I've got even more videos on Kuala Lumpur and beyond. But if you want to check out some more videos from my KL series, you'll find links here on the screen or in the description below. And as usual, I won't say goodbye because I'll see you in the next video.